Hello and welcome to Investortube. Today we are very fortunate to have ClickSoftware with us to tell us a little bit about their business. More from the CEO and Chairman in a moment. But first of all on ClickSoftware. ClickSoftware is the leading provider of automated workforce management and optimized solutions. ClickSoftware's solutions manage over 200,000 resources across a wide variety of industries and geographies. Customers include the who's who's of any industry. The top blue chip companies that you can think of turn to ClickSoftware for business solutions to their problems. The bottom line is ClickSoftware's business solutions for service businesses make them the ideal choice for any company out there looking to be more competitive in today's environment. Joining us today from ClickSoftware, we have the pleasure of having Moshe BenBassat, who is Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of ClickSoftware. Moshe, welcome and thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Before going more in depth on your company, can you give us an overview of the products that you offer and the markets that you serve?
Yeah, the business problem that we solve is one that many of us experience almost every day. So assume that your printer breaks. You call in for service. The person on the other line is probably using the so-called CRM, Customer Relationship Management, where he will ask you for your name, your address, but of course you are anxiously waiting to hear, so when are you going to send someone to fix my printer? This is quite a complex question when you think deep, try to understand it, because it involves travel minimization. How do I schedule the technician so that it does not travel uptown, downtown, and back uptown? How do I service platinum customers in a way that is compliant with what they were promised? And how do I minimize overtime? And when do I use contractors or when do I use internal resources? All of this make this business problem quite challenging. We're in the business of solving this problem using sophisticated algorithms and computer software. We service by now just about every industry vertical in the service sector, but primarily we have about 40% of our revenues coming from utility companies such as electricity, gas, water companies. About 35% of it comes from telecommunication companies. Companies such as BSkyB in the UK, Rogers in Canada, Telus in Canada, Deutsche Telekom in Germany, Telstra in Australia, and the like. Office equipment companies are the next big sector. Companies such as Xerox, Ricoh, Konica Minolta, Hewlett-Packard, Unisys, and so forth. Then we have retail companies, insurance companies. Every company that has a field service that goes to service the customers at home is a relevant candidate company for us. In addition, we have recently expanded into the in-house type of service companies, namely when the customer comes to the service site to receive service. This includes, let's say, shift scheduling for retail companies or healthcare and so forth. And altogether, it creates a very large addressable market for us. In general, the service sector today constitutes about 70% or more of the GNP of the Western world economy. And service companies are all about managing people and their time. We operate primarily in the United States, Europe, and the Far East. The revenues are broken roughly at about 35–40% United States and Canada, about 35–40% in Europe, and the rest of it in places such as Australia, India, and the like.
How does a company like ClickSoftware leverage people out there who are using their iPods and their Blackberries and their Androids?
Indeed, we leverage these technologies to maximize the benefits to our customers. In fact, mobility technology is not just about information transmission from the field to the back office and vice versa. Mobility technology, it's about how to use this data to act in real time on the data and produce better decisions. Picture, for instance, a technician who calls you and says, customer is not at home. Not too far from him, there could be another technician that may say, my job is going to take 4 more hours than estimated. Well, you can switch between the two of them and gain more efficiencies. When you are talking about hundreds, thousands of technicians out there, each one of them transmitting a piece of data as to where he is, what the status of his work, and leveraging this data to maximize efficiencies and customer service, that's where you really get what we call the real-time service enterprise. Every service company struggles with this tension between, on the one hand, optimizing the customer service, and on the other hand, minimizing the cost of operation. And what we do is we help them to really squeeze every ounce of productivity from their customers while complying with the service priorities they promised to their customers.
How has the partnerships that you've formed, how have those helped your business?
In terms of partnerships, we have two types of them. First, we have product vendors, and of course SAP is the leading one with whom we have a reseller agreement, and they resell our products to their customers whenever they see a need. On the other hand, we have the system integrators, companies such as IBM and Accenture, who work with us to implement this solution in their customers. Good. You see, in the software business, it's very difficult to have one company have the solutions for every possible business problem. So with the partnership that we have, whenever one of our partners need our solution and we come in, of course, their relationship with the client and our partnership, which typically involves having the right adapters to their software, certainly takes the anxiety from the client as to will these companies be able to work together. On top of it, if you add the role of the system integrator, which in many cases serves as the trusted advisor and can testify for the quality of our solutions and the partnership with the software vendor, this certainly help.
Now, SAP in particular, with the movements and changes that have taken place in the industry, different companies being acquired, how are you positioned to take advantage of these changes that have taken place with acquisitions?
Yeah, I assume you are referring to the Sybase acquisition. And indeed, being a partner of SAP, as soon as we heard about this acquisition, we sat down and we are now porting our mobility solution to the Sybase environment, and pretty soon, within the fourth quarter already, we will have our solution, the mobility solution, running on the Sybase environment.
Let me start by asking you, how has the competitive landscape of your business changed?
In the field service market, some of the early competition changed directions, some were acquired, and all in all, if you look at the Magic Quadrant by the Gartner Group from 2009 to 2010, you will see that our position improved and we increased the distance between us and the competition. In the area of in-house service scheduling, which includes primarily shift scheduling, of course, we are now the newcomers, and you see competition from traditional players who have been selling shift scheduling for several years. However, we have the unique advantages in terms of the optimization technologies that we bring to this, as well as the connection to the daily scheduling, which comes from the field service area.
You have a 10-year compound average growth of 20%, a 3-year compound average growth of 24%, and yet your stock is down 10% year over year. How do you tie the disconnect between all the potential we're hearing about, the performance that you've achieved historically, the strong performance you've had this year, even with the worldwide recession downturn? How do you tie these two together?
Yeah, first of all, it's a concern to me, being the biggest shareholder. But as far as stock prices goes, I mean, there are so many factors that play a role, including global factors, that it's very difficult for us, okay, to kind of to focus on it. Rather, what we decide is just focus on the business, deliver good results quarter to quarter, and show that you are positioned for consistent, ongoing, sustainable growth year over year, and I'm sure eventually the stock price will reflect our growth and success.
I think you're 100% correct. Given that your company is able to increase the company's productivity, increase their customer satisfaction, and increasing their operating efficiency, I'm certain if you continue to execute on your goals, the stock will follow. Having analyzed your company in much greater detail, I can see no company that I think that is better positioned for growth moving forward. And it's certainly a pleasure to deal with someone who is helping so many companies solve their business problems of who does what, for whom, with what, when, and where. Moshe, it's been a pleasure having you. I wish you all the success, and I am certain that we are going to see you and read about your success moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeffrey. It was a big pleasure being with you.